Mark is a president of Giuliani Associates. For over 30 years, Mark has been a leading proponent of using technology to provide clients with high quality architectural services. Mark holds a BS in Business Administration from Wheeling Jesuit University and a Master of Architecture degree from the School of Architecture and Planning at the Catholic University of America. After working with his father, Joseph Giuliani, Mark transformed Giuliani Associates from a firm focused strictly in the aviation industry to a firm that now offers multiple services to a variety of industries. Today, Mr. Giuliani and Giuliani Associates provide architectural, engineering, and technology services using building information modeling and facility management tools. So with that, I'll stop sharing and let Mark present what he has.
Thanks, Bob. So what I'd like to talk to you today as I share my screen is to talk to you about starting with clean data and utilizing data as a way to start the whole programming process, the schematic design process, design development, all the way through construction documents, contract administration, and post-occupancy for facility management. These are all different steps in creating an ISO 55000 environment where you minimize the different inputs of the same data so that the data remains clean and normalized. So on the screen right now, what you see is a hypothetical building that we've put into the Onuma system. This is just one of many systems that you can use to start to bring data in. This building was brought in through a Kobe spreadsheet where we laid out a program of different spaces. And so we can start to look at this, and I can take you through here what the outside of this looks like. It's a 4-story building. Here, that was all 4 stories. Here it is with 3 stories. Here it is with 2 stories. And here it is with 1 story. And we'll go into this live, but with the data, we can pull this into Google Earth. We can start to look at each space, space at a time. We get the room number, the room name, how many square feet it is, what the ceiling height is, what floor it's on. And if we were to input all the data, we would know the capacity through sensors. We'd know what the occupancy limits are. We'd know how many people per square foot you can have. We can also start to put the assets and the components into the space so that they can be tracked through facility management. In a little while, we'll show you what that looks like on an iPad. What I want to do now is share a different screen, which is to show you what this looks like in real time on Google Earth. So let me stop sharing that screen and start sharing this screen. And Mike, chime in if you'd like.
Hi, this is Mike Bordenaro. I'm the communications director for the Asset Leadership Network, and it's been my privilege to also be involved in BIMstorm with Mark Giuliani, and which was founded by Kimono Numa for many years. The Asset Leadership Network has been privileged to have a number of BIMstorm demonstrations, which is why Bob Smith knew to introduce this process to the pharmaceutical industry. The Asset Leadership Network has highlighted a airport BIMstorm that Mark Giuliani was critical in. And earlier this year, we did a BIMstorm on healthcare industry. And so we thank Bob Smith for bringing this approach of entering data once and being able to use it from the very initial schematic planning all the way through to commissioning and operations and management.
Okay, Mike. So what we have here on the screen is
we're not seeing your screen, Mark.
Okay.
Might have to share it to another. And while you're getting that, I'll say that the facilities working group of the Asset Leadership Network years ago established that data was an asset. So this is a way of showing the importance of the data throughout the life cycle of a project. We see it now, Mark.
Okay, sorry about that. So basically what we're looking at right here is the building that was put into a Kobe spreadsheet. You're looking at the spaces in the building. This is all 4 floors. As I turn the floors off, you start to see the floors underneath. And this is the ground floor. And we've started to populate some of the spaces here. But just quickly, you can start to see what the space name is, the space number, the room number, the square footage. So the data is in here. It knows that right now there's 13 pieces of furniture in here. There's 139 pieces of furniture in this particular one. And so this starts to allow people to follow this data from the early on user group meetings through the concept design workshops and the programming into the schematic design and such. And so if we were to stop sharing this now and go back into Onuma, we can then show you some more of what we can do within this type of system.
And while you're doing that, Mark, I will say that what this team has been doing in the past few weeks is a mock building project. Nick Armstrong and Bob Smith were acting as the owners, telling us that what they needed was a small batch manufacturing facility. Mark Giuliani has been establishing what that could look like based on models that he had found online. And we picked a location for it. We started laying things out. Nick and Bob were saying, move this here, add this here. Then we were able to share information that you'll see with Nick Kissel to show that the important thing is to have open, secure standards. I said that wrong. Secure, open standards that allows the information to be shared from software to software based on what is necessary in each stage of the project.
So as we look at the different spaces, we have an upstream processing space here that's roughly 4,000 square feet. And we just have furniture laid out and equipment laid out as one might be. And we can then look at the building, look at the space, enter the space. We see the titles there, the room number. All this information is important because it's entered once in the Kobe spreadsheet, pulled into the space planning system, and then pulled out and pulled into whatever type of modeling system that you want to use to build your building information modeling into a set of construction documents for the contractor to build the building. And then that data is pulled back out and pulled back into any type of facility management software. So here we are in the actual space. The data can be brought into many different levels. So if I click on this freezer, it comes up, it tells me the size of the freezer. I can enter data such as the serial number, any kinds of information, purchase dates, so different departments can use that information, pictures of it, owner's manuals, shop manuals, all different kinds of information can be put into these. And then each one of these different pieces of equipment has that information associated with it. We've laid out the furniture. The furniture has that same information, the storage shelves. So all of this makes it very easy to share this data onto an iPad. And I don't know if the iPad is sharing data now or not, but if it is, I can show you a walkthrough.
I think you would have to stop sharing the one before you start sharing, because we're looking at upstream. Now we're not seeing any sharing.
Okay. So let me, I have it here on this system. Let me go in and share it.
And while Mark's sharing that, I'd just like to say that the processes that we're showing are not new. BIM storms have been operating since 2007, and actually before that under other titles. And we're just wanting to bring these processes to other industries.
Nick, can you make the iPad a host?
Yep, working on that right now.
Another quick thing too, Mike, this is coming from ISO 55000. It's important. This is one aspect of asset management. And one of the things that ISO 55001 says is asset management requires accurate asset information but an asset information system is more than a management information system. Asset management interacts with many functions of an organization, and in reality, it really, all functions of your organization depend on assets. So it's really overall. So
here we are in, thanks, Mike. Thanks, Nick. And Mike, you can chime in when you'd like, anybody can, but this is basically, I'm going to look off to the side here to control this. This is what the system looks like in 3D. You can scroll around into it. I can go into the space. I can get closer. I can actually enter the space and start to look around. But this is at post-occupancy stage of a building. This is what facility managers can use to actually start to click on information, get that data about that information. And here we can see it's a freezer. It was installed on this date. If we had implemented all of this information and data, the manufacturer, the model number and such. And this really is a system that helps better utilize time for building engineers and facility managers. So that's just a walk around that one space.
What's important to understand is this is at the schematic design phase. This is not design development. And therefore, non-expert stakeholders can look at this and say, oh no, you've got to move this here, you got to move that there. But the information about the assets remains with the model, and it can be used going forward. So it's important to understand. This is a few meetings and a few design sessions. This isn't design development.
And so this is what, this enables you to work much more efficiently. I can go in real time and start to add different components to this and then export it out, and it'll show up 30 seconds, a minute later in what we're looking at right now.
So these processes can enable Pharma 4.0 to start meeting the accelerated times and schedules. We've got a question about FDA that we'll get to later, Rob, but we just wanted to show the support for the accelerated needs. Now this building, this small batch facility, can then be brought to other sites and have much, if not all of these components in them and slightly adjusted to meet the requirements of the other sites. And if there's going to be multiple small batch facilities, this is the type of thing that will help them accelerate their ability to achieve their goals.
So I'm just going to go back into the Enuma model real quick and just show that these components are all custom made, and the data can be put into the system so that it's dependent upon model number. You can put the information such as serial numbers and such into here and start to quickly identify what the material is. And it creates a COBE type spreadsheet that we can go look at in a little bit. And then copying this data is as simple as just copying it, pasting it, and placing it.
COBE stands for Construction Operation Building Information Exchange. It's a standard established by the National Institute of Building Sciences to help with the transition from design and construction to the operation. It allows a commissioning agent to have accurate information about assets so that there isn't a need to manually enter information off of tags by walking around a building. So there are many elements, many organizations that are coming together to try to meet the accelerated needs for industry. And this is a demonstration of how it can be achieved.
And to give you just a quick example, I'm calling up right now just what one of those sheets might look like.
We don't see your screen yet, but that
Yeah,
might,
I'm just moving things out of the way so you can better see it. So here is an example of what the particular sheet that I used to create this information looks like. So you have different elements and information such as what the room name is. To the left of this, and another hidden column is a machine number for that space so they don't get mixed up. There's net areas over here on the right side of the screen. And then all these other components can be filled in by the facility management team so that when they're out in the field with their iPad, they can get the different space, the information about the different components they need. And at the bottom, you have different tabs like contact information, what facility we're looking at, what floor we're on, space, zone, type, component. So there's an enormous amount of data that can be put into these spreadsheets. And once you export that or import them into the software, it brings that data in with it. You can modify it graphically, or you can modify it in the spreadsheet. The two interchange with each other in real time. So it's a very powerful tool. Mike, anything you want to add?
the importance of that spreadsheet format is that it allows the information to be shared with other programs in a efficient manner.